Going a bit off topic, I guess, but did you guys have birthday parties as kids, or did you go to other kids' birthday parties?
Yeah,
yeah, I did. But I mean, I was born in July, so I never got to have everyone turns up. It's just I get like 2 kids going out.
Yeah,
because everyone's on.
Mine was always on school holidays, so I always had a birthday party.
Yeah,
it was it started off at the McDonald's playpen. The goat, the goat, the ice cream cakes, bro.
What's your reasoning for asking?
No, because like I would always notice that the people, like the kids that ended up like growing up to high school that had like a big social group were the kids that had like the biggest and most kids come to their birthday parties. That's I don't know if that's
Is there a direct correlation?
I don't know if
that's so anecdotal.
That's completely anecdotal. That you are completely right. This is bullshit data based on my one personal experience. I was just like, because part of the reason I've grown up really not hating my birthday, but just being really indifferent about like my birthday and having birthday parties. Part of the reason for that was because I'm like a late May baby. So when my birthday came around, it was like exam season. Everyone had to study. So I wouldn't even try to like have any birthday parties. I think I had like one as a kid. And then it was
birthday trauma.
Yeah, it's like birthday trauma. I'm like, if I don't invite anyone, then I don't have to be disappointed if no one comes to my birthday, because I know everyone's got exams, right? So I've grown up being like completely indifferent about it. And it's been interesting, meeting Sydney, who's like the complete opposite of just like, I love my birthday. I always want to like, this is like the time I get to hang out with my friends and make it like feel special.
Is she the person that calls it a birthday month?
No, she doesn't go that far.
Okay.
She doesn't go that far, but she does always look for something to make a birthday feel special, and she tries to give that to other people as well. And like seeing the other side of things, I'm just like, damn, that's such a small thing that I never got in my life. Like having like a small thing of like having the birthday feel special, or doing something that goes out your way to make that person feel special. But I'm like, damn, now that I see her do it for other people and see how she reacts when I go out my way to do something for her birthday as well. I'm like, damn, like small things actually matter. Small things matter.
They build up.
Yeah, they build up. And especially when it comes to friendships, going out your way to make them know that you're a friend or make them feel special. That's something that something that I've never really thought about when I was growing up. Yeah. I was like, friends are friends, friends are friend, but just making your bros feel special, or
inviting people to hang out is a very core part of friendship. You can't always be that. A word of advice would be, don't be that guy who just waits for invitations. You should always try and make stuff.
Yep.
Not even if you're like, I don't know what to do. It's just like, you like hanging out with them, right?
Yeah,
just hang out.
Just invite them out. Man,
yeah,
I think that's
hang out.
Inviting people is one of the most important parts of making someone feel like they're a friend.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they considered me. Oh, they thought about me when they wanted to spend time with people. That's like a really important thing.
Yeah,
I think.
Of course.
It's very easy to like. Because when I was a teenager, I was like, no, people will just invite me to things.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was like that passive guy.
Yeah,
it was just like, I just get invited to things.
I'll play video games. I'm not going to do anything. Like, but if someone wants to invite me out, I'll come. You know what I mean? So it's like. Yeah, but then it's like, people appreciate you showing up as well, and that's very important too. But, showing people that it's appreciated and that you value their time and you would like them present at things is important. And that's something that I think, this shit's like never taught to you. None of this stuff's ever taught to you, and you just have to learn it because you're just like, all right, well, I guess this is what being a nice friend means. I don't know. But also, I don't know. Felt like I learned a lot of weird things being from a small town, and you learn small town etiquette and not. It's like weird. No, like it's just weird because I feel that like.
What do you mean?
Just like, I don't know, like stuff that was considered very normal where you're from might not be normal where you are right now, and how you have to kind of adapt to that and kind of be like, oh, okay, just because there was a gathering every week at maybe the pub, now I don't have that. How do I make sure that like,
how do I make friends when there's no pubs?
Like if there was a place where everyone would just be at.
Yeah.
Because there was nowhere else to go, and you could reliably meet people there. It's like, oh, now I have to like, okay, I can't just wander into a place and meet everyone who knows everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and maybe even just growing up with when everyone's from a small town, and even like the kids, right? Because when you're a kid, you get a lot of how you think about things from your parents.
Yeah.
All the kids, me included, you would get like a lot of the stuff fed to you from your parents, and I feel like the internet is like throwing a massive spanner into that. And I just remember thinking like the whole time when I was a kid, I was like, man, I just don't feel like I think the same way like everyone speaks around me, and I think that's why I felt like really like outcasted for a while, because I was like, man, I want to do all this weird shit that I saw on the internet, and everyone's like, oh, it's just, I like the football that my dad told me to watch.
Meanwhile, Connor's there like, have you seen Poo Poo Pee Pee?
Meanwhile,
shit's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like shouting at Americans on COD, and I'm looking at all this stuff online about Japan when I'm like 12, and I'm like, dude, this shit's so cool. What are we all doing?
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like that's a very weird mindset of like, I think I'm different to everyone. And it's like, maybe I'm not different. Maybe I'm just a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I got that feeling whenever I go to, go to Sydney's hometown, because that is a very like home. That is a very small town. And it almost kind of feels like, oh, she's going to hate me for saying this. It almost feels like incestuous in a way. Just because I swear to God, everyone's known each other, and they've known each other like from birth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And then,
it's like that.
Yeah. And like everyone who's everyone who's friends there are like
good as well, though.
childhood friends. And that's good.
I think that's great, because you are also, in that situation, there's a lot of friendly people who you're often introduced to throughout your life, and you're often taught a lot of social skills that I think are really important. Whereas I think sometimes in people who are raised exclusively in cities, it's a lot more things you should be careful about.
Yeah,
you can't just randomly go meet people. You can't just be left in the middle of a shopping, I don't know, supermarket all day, and then your parents will come pick you up later or some shit. I don't fucking know why you do that, but we got up to a lot of weird shit as a kid, and that I would not do now.
No, for sure.
Because I think the one the one trope, I guess I'm gonna troll it. The one trope I'm missing in my life is I've never had a childhood friend. Well, what is that? I don't know what that feels like. Whenever I see that in anime, I see like, I have a childhood friend, and
there's no friends from your childhood who you have
contact with.
Even like you could hit
zero.
Define childhood.
Like you've known them since you were a child.
Yeah, like since you were like
there's like no one you could hit up and be like, hey, how you doing, man?
Everyone that I've known when I was like a child, like pretty young.
Yeah.
I'd say like the only friends I've really kept in contact with, the furthest we go back is probably like end of high school, when we're like going to university. That's
so like no one from like primary school?
No, not a single person.
I could probably hit up like half of my school, which is not a lot of people, by the way.
Yeah.
Half of my,
it's like four.
half of my year, and I feel like we could go get a drink. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then there's like 3 that I would be able to hit up and be like, hey man, come to Japan, come hang out. And they'd be like, I got work. But then maybe sure.
See, I don't have that. I don't know what that feels like.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's just like a city thing, but you have childhood friends, right?
Majority of my friends are childhood friends. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. So like my mom did this like 5-head move when I was born, because like, Sydney is a big city. Yeah. Right, and lots of suburbs, lots of different like communities of different ethnicities all over the city, and my mom coming from Japan, obviously all of her friends were back in Japan, right? So she found, when I was born, she found this like mothers group that just consisted of Japanese mums with like non-Japanese husbands. So basically like Hafu kids, right? And
you got the Hafu group.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, and my mum went, oh, this is perfect, because I can make Japanese friends who live in Sydney as well, and they all have Hafu kids that my kids could be friends with as well. Right. So my mum would basically take me and my sister to these like these Japanese mum gatherings, and I would meet all of these fucking half Japanese kids who were like pretty much the same age as me, maybe give or take a couple of years. And like, some of those people are like still my best friends, and I've known them for over 25 years now. Yeah. And it's fucking wild. Like when we went to Australia last month for the convention, and I went back to Sydney, I caught up with some of them, and it was really weird. We were just like reminiscing, being like, isn't it weird that I've known you for like over 25 fucking years of my life, and I'm like, that's wild to think.
To me, that's
a long time.
To me, that's like family at that point.
Yeah, they are like family for sure. Yeah, and it's great.
wish that was me. Kind of wish that was me.
So I am aware that I am very blessed in that situation.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for my mom, who again was the genius who set that all up.
That's why she's the GOAT.
Yeah, I basically like paid to win. My mom was like, "I got you, bro.
Yeah, I got you. Here, you.
I'm gonna whale on your account. Here you go. Here's all your friends, bro." Yeah.
I don't know. I think also you probably had a pretty normal upbringing, which probably helped a lot too. I think a lot of
Define normal.
well, by normal I mean like
Like no troubles.
yeah, like financially stable.
Yeah.
I guess your parents are still together.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's like a big thing. And then like just yeah, I mean, I'm like financial security is a huge thing as a child, as a kid. That I fucking certainly didn't appreciate when I was growing up.
Oh,
I was
sure.
just like, yeah, my mom and dad are always together, and we never have to worry about money. I think I don't know. I get an Xbox, so that's probably pretty good, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think that's a huge factor in when you're growing up, right? And how
absolutely.
secure it is. And I think definitely small town, it's a lot easier to kind of have that stability.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of weird stuff happening where I was from,
Yeah.
at least when I was growing up.
Would you guys go back to your high school reunions?
Sure, why not?
I missed my high school reunion, like my 10-year reunion.
Oh, yeah?
It happened recently, but obviously I was here, so I missed out. I kind of wish I went to it, to be honest.
Realistically, I'm like, no, but then the ego part of my head is like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? Like, because you know,
Just rock up with 2 security guards
yeah,
out of
yeah.
a limousine and be like, "Oh, sorry, boys, I'm late."
Sorry.
Take sunglasses off.
I mean, you know, of course, to deny my ego would be the biggest lie ever. But you know, I also think that when I'm just fundamentally, I'm just a very different person from who I was in high school. And I think, you know, when I sometimes speak to some people who I feel haven't changed at all since high school, I'm like, is that good? I don't know if that's good or that's impressive. Like, I'm not like,
Well,
I
it
feel
depends.
like-
it depends how they were in high school, right?
yeah. I mean, there's some people who definitely haven't changed, and they certainly should have changed.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure we all know that.
Yeah, of course.
We all have that friend or person we've seen who is literally identical to how they've been living their life the exact same way
Yeah.
Yeah.
since they were 18. And,
Yeah.
and you're just like, God, I hate you so much, and I'm so glad you haven't changed because your life is fucking. You're a dick to everyone. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's an important thing to change and to grow and to learn maybe certain behaviors maybe you do that you could improve upon. And I think that's something that I think also as a YouTuber, you're like forced to, because everyone is, well, you don't have to, you can be a dickhead. But a lot of people are always very judgmental of you, us, especially when we're on a fucking 2-hour podcast, things we say or thing, like, Lord knows that we get some heat. But then it's also like a really good thing to, in one part of my head, I'm like, yeah, that's great. I have like a fucking dedicated list of people judging everything I say and telling me how to improve and giving me some help. Because sometimes I maybe just think things towards certain topics, or maybe my behavior towards certain things is just not as good as I'd like it to be, or I could improve it in a way where I don't know, I feel better about myself, or maybe it's more healthy long term.
It's kind of like a good moral, not like a good moral check. So every now and again,
Yeah.
Dude, like,
you know.
because you know, I think I can speak for all of us that we never try to do anything bad, but sometimes like, you know, you're just living your life, and maybe you're just doing things, and you're like, oh, this thing I did could have been damaging to in this kind of way to either myself, or maybe people around me, because I just didn't realize.
Yes.
And you'd never have that kind of feedback loop to have that. And maybe some people point out like, hey, maybe that thing you said wasn't very good. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go look, because your friends sometimes don't tell you, hey man, that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Because that just sometimes doesn't happen, and that's where real friends come in.
Real
Yeah,
friends
that's-
will come in
that's
and be
what I'm
like,
saying.
and call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, mate, you were kind of a fucking dick.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie.
You need people like that, man.
Yeah,
Keep you in
do.
check.
You do. Which is what, okay. One of the big things as well is conflict, right? I feel like, you know, some people will go out of their way to avoid, you know, rightly so. Conflict is always an unpleasant topic and just an unpleasant experience. But I feel if you've gone through a friendship and you've not had like either done a little bit of like conflict resolution, you know, even if it's just a fucking stupid drunken argument, like or something like that, it's like if you're tiptoeing around, you know, if you're tiptoeing around hurting your friend's feelings, then you will never know where the boundaries will lie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think confrontation is a very important part of a long-lasting friendship. And if your friend does something fucked up, it's important that you tell them they fucked up right away.
Yeah.
Because then, I think most people, if I told you, hey, Gon, that boneless chicken thing you said was not cool, and maybe you reacted kind of sour to that. You're like, what the fuck? What the fuck's wrong with you? I didn't do anything wrong. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, either I'm wrong, or which has never happened, or maybe this is someone who I shouldn't pay much mind to, and then maybe they're like not a good friend.
Yeah,
and I think that's a great way of just learning, because I think ultimately, if someone is a really great friend, they will appreciate that you came to them and told them, hey, maybe that thing you did wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Because if you get confronted about something, you should take that as, oh, I've clearly upset this person. Why wouldn't I want to make this better? Why wouldn't I want to improve the situation? Why would I be getting defensive over a situation when this person clearly feels offended over something, and if there's someone I value, there's got to be something there that I need to address or unpack. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, I think it's important to at least hear them out and
just have a conversation.
Walk through it.
Yeah,
I think that's a very important part of being
definitely
an adult, and also knowing when to pick confrontation. I think sometimes you can get a little too gung ho with it, and you can confront too many people.
If you get too pedantic with it, then that's just a quick fire way to lose a friend.
I think that's just something that comes with experience and age. You just kind of learn. You're like, this is really not a big deal. Yeah. If I make it a big deal, I'm going to cause more problems in the long run.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we've had that one friend who's maybe brought something up where you're like, what the fuck? Like, what? Are you what?
It's like, why is this even a problem?
Why are we talking about this right now?
You're like, what? Is this an issue? Like, we've probably all had that. And you're like, and even then, it's like it's important to work through that and be like, let's break it down. Like, what's going on here?
Most of the time, it's not the actual problem. Most of the time, it's
something else.
It's something else that's a deeper problem.
He's using that as a crux to kick off the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, there is this problem. By the way, here's the real issue.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's unpack that. Are you good, man? Are you good? And normally, most of the time when that happens, there is something not good that they might not be aware of, that you're like, okay, that's the real problem.
Now we know the root of the problem.
That's okay. I get it now. I get it. For sure. Some people just need to talk about their feelings and shit. Some people just need to vent. And okay, so I had that I'm that kind of I had this awful, I don't know if it's an awful personality trait, but it is the way just my mind works. Whenever sometimes someone would come to me with a problem, my gut reaction would be like, let's fix it. And then it took me age to realize some people just need to vent about their day.
They're not looking for a solution.
They're not looking for a solution.
A lot of people just want to have someone listen. They don't want answers. They don't want you to suggest how to improve it. They're just like, please just hear me out.
They just need you to go, that's rough, buddy. And then end of conversation.
Because my engineering mind would be like, all right, I've heard the problem. Let's break it down, and this is how you fix. This is a step by step.
No one. If you reply to every time someone's like, this problem, well, I would have done this. Yeah, you should do this. It's like
I literally used to do that, and I hated that I used to do that.
I think everyone does it at one point because they're they feel like they're helping the situation. But a lot of the time, people just want you to listen and engage with it. So just ask more questions, not in a way of how can I fix this, but hey, why did this person do this? Or why does that bother you? Why do you feel about this? Just making people know that you're listening and hearing them and understanding them is just so important.
Yeah, for sure.